All right, so we're getting ready now because don't you hate it when your favorite wool or cashmere sweater gets shrunk? You believe your days of wearing it are over. Well, not anymore. The I.D.E.A store has some creative ways to get your sweater back, albeit in a different form.
Yes, in a very different form.
Lyndsie Marsh with the I.D.E.A store with some really creative ideas to repurpose our sweaters. So let's start out with our model here. So this was at one point a men's large. I'll put this up against me. I'm not super huge by any stretch of the imagination, but this would be tiny on me.
That is a men's large. I don't think
yeah,
many people would be able to fit into that.
No, right. So unless you're going out to be like a Jersey Shore bro, that's probably done for. So what can we do with it?
So you can make it into other wearable items like brooches and pins or pendants and necklaces or even a scarf.
Yeah.
To your scarf to dress it up or your coat.
I've seen these, and one of the things that you've done here is you've really layered a bunch of colors together. So this goes with a lot of different things.
It does. It very much does.
Yeah. And how simple is this to do? I mean,
it's incredibly. It's incredibly simple. You're going to be able to. I'm going to have you make one.
Okay.
And you're going to be able to do it.
Very cool.
So these ones are incredibly simple. But then I did bring some examples of other ones that can be made too. So this is a little bit more. These are a little bit more involved.
Yeah.
So the little roses, you can make all different types of flowers, as well as other ones. Yeah, there's tons of different things that you can make too.
Okay, so let's get started.
Yeah.
I haven't gotten Heather her Christmas present yet, so now I can swap this out. Yeah, lucky
So
her.
first what happens, if you shrink a sweater, by ending up putting it in hot water. So that's what wool or cashmere will shrink with hot water. So that's how that happens.
All right.
So after
so note to self, no hot water.
Yeah, unless you want to.
Because you need more supplies to sew with.
Exactly.
Okay.
So you take your scissors and your marker. So what I do is I'll just find a cup or something to make perfect circles, and I'll trace them around. However, I did this already, and I made 3 different sizes. So I have a larger one, and then I made smaller ones to layer on top.
And I'll show this if you're just tuning in. These are kind of what we're going for here, so you can kind of see why you need small, medium, and large.
Yep. So we're gonna do that layered stack.
Yep.
And then also to take a button, and then to layer it on top to give it a little bit of bling.
Okay.
So you could add other things to it. I brought other examples of scrap pieces that you could add to it to just to bling it up a little bit.
So, all right, so we got to sew these together.
Correct.
And this is just using a standard needle?
No, this is using an embroidery needle and some embroidery thread. So it's much thicker. So this is something definitely kids could do too because it's easier to handle.
Nice. Yeah, and the needle isn't as sharp.
No, these are the ones that are dull. So no worries, you're not going to poke yourself.
That's good. That's good.
So what you do is thread the needle and you put it through and tie it on the end.
Okay, which you've already started.
Which I've already done.
All right.
And so if you want to pick out a button for yours.
These are mine here.
Yep, those are yours. These are mine. And just stack them all together kind of like pancakes on top.
All right. Heather might like a nice red.
Ooh.
That's fancy.
Fancy.
She'd like that. Or maybe I should do the purple. Now I'm thinking, what is she going to want? No. There, that one kind of, she'd approve of that. Okay. All right, so needle up and through?
Yep, so you go through the bottom and go through all the stacks and push through, right through that.
Afraid to do it too hard, but don't be a wimp.
And pull, because the knot that's made on the bottom will stop it.
Okay, all right. So. Yeah, I learned this basic sewing technique back at September 11th when we were stitching together a bunch of squares into a quilt. And I didn't know squat about sewing until that point, but I had a friend who was making one of these quilts. So that's kind of where I learned the basics. But this is really
a great way to start learning.
Yeah, well, an unfortunate way to do it. But
unfortunate, but a good cause.
Yeah, very much so. Yeah. And so if I can do this, you can too. So it's just down and through?
Yep, and then you go back down.
Okay. And then back up.
And then back up, and you just keep doing it. It's super, super simple.
Yeah.
And you really only need maybe about 4 stitches to do. I have one button that has 4 holes in it.
All right.
So I just do the crisscross on it. Some have 2.
Okay.
And you pull it tight.
There we go, yeah.
Then it's done.
Wow, that's super
that's the top part. And then, so now you could attach it in different ways. So if you had a headband, you could attach it to a headband.
Oh, okay, so wrap it on the back?
Yeah, you could sew it onto a scarf or onto your coat. But then I brought in pin backs today.
Pins, yeah.
These are ones that have great little holes in them because they're perfect. You just stick it up through the hole.
Yeah, so when I do my next set up and through, I'll have to put this through. So, Lyndsie, what have you got going on at the I.D.E.A store?
So we actually have a class how to teach kids and adults how to make items out of felted sweaters. So
Really?
January 5th from 4 to 5:30, we have a class for kids to make the felted sweater little animals. And then so here's the little animals,
Aw.
little bird and a fish. And then from 6 to 8, we have a class for adults to learn how to make a variety of different flowers to make into pendants or brooches or pin backs or any of that.
Brilliant.
Yeah.
What's your website?
Our website is www.the-idea-store.org.
Perfect. And that's where you can go to get the latest information on the classes that they offer, because they do a bunch of these throughout the year. So definitely check it out. Great ways to repurpose and reuse. Lyndsie, thanks.
Thank you.